And the reason they're so dangerous is that the person telling them believes them completely. Believes them the way you believe the sun is going to come up. Never questions them, never examines them, just carries them around year after year and wonders why nothing ever changes. Look, broke is not a bank balance. Broke is a set of beliefs. The bank balance is just the shadow those beliefs cast on the ground. You can hand a person money, and if you don't change the beliefs, the money leaves and the person ends up right back where they started. It happens all the time. Because the beliefs are the machine, and the money is just the output. If the machine is broken, it doesn't matter how much material you feed into it. You get the same result every time. Today, I want to talk about 10 lies broke people tell themselves about money, not lies rich people tell them. Lies they tell themselves in their own voice, in the privacy of their own head. Because those are the ones that do the real work of keeping a person down. These lies sound reasonable. That's what makes them so effective. They sound like something a wise, humble, realistic person would say. They wear the costume of maturity, but underneath the costume, every one of them is a small permission slip to stay exactly where you are. Now, before we get into the list, you have to understand something about how this works. Because most people believe their financial situation is caused by their circumstances. The job they have, the economy, the city they live in, the family they were born into. And I'm not going to stand here and tell you circumstances don't matter. They matter. But circumstances are not destiny. Two people can start in the exact same circumstance, and one ends up wealthy and the other ends up broke. The difference between them is not the circumstance. The difference is what they believe and what they do because of what they believe. You see, your beliefs about money determine your behavior about money. And your behavior about money, repeated over years, determines your position. If you believe money is scarce, you behave one way. If you believe money is abundant and available to anybody willing to earn it, you behave another way. And the two of you 10 years down the road are living in different worlds, not because of luck, because of the belief that shaped the behavior that built the world. The lies I'm going to talk about tonight are the beliefs that build the poor world. Every one of them, held long enough, produces the same result. A person who works hard or works some and never gets ahead and can never quite figure out why. The why is in the lies. The lies are in the head. And most people never think to look there because they're too busy looking at their circumstances. You must take this seriously, because if you're carrying even 3 of these lies, they are working against you every single day, quietly in the background while you sleep. Let's pull them out into the light where you can see them. Number 1, broke people tell themselves the rich got rich by taking from the poor. This is one of the most comforting lies a broke person can hold, and it is one of the most destructive, because it turns the very thing you're trying to become into a villain. And nobody works hard to become a villain. Most wealth in the world was created, not stolen. Somebody made something people wanted. Somebody solved a problem people had. Somebody provided a service people were willing to pay for. And in exchange for solving that problem, they got paid. That's not taking. That's trading. Both sides came out ahead, or the trade wouldn't have happened. The person who bought the thing wanted the thing more than the money. The person who sold it wanted the money more than the thing. Everybody won. When you believe the rich got rich by taking, you make wealth into a crime. And your own conscience, being decent, refuses to let you commit a crime. So you stay poor. You stay poor to stay innocent. You've turned your poverty into a form of virtue. And now you can't give it up without feeling like you've become a thief. That's a prison built out of a false idea. And you built it yourself brick by brick, every time you told yourself that story about where money comes from. Drop the lie. Money you earn by providing value is money nobody lost. It's money that came into existence because you helped somebody. The more people you help, the more you earn. That's not a scheme. That's the actual machinery of an honest economy. Once you understand that wealth is created by service, becoming wealthy stops looking like theft and starts looking like usefulness. And you can pursue usefulness with a clear conscience, which means you'll actually pursue it, which changes everything. Next, broke people tell themselves, I'll worry about money later. Later, when they earn more. Later, when things settle down. Later, when the kids are grown. Later, when they're not so busy. There is always a later, and the later never comes, and the not. Worrying about money continues right up until the day the money runs out and there's no later left. The habits you build with a little money are the habits you'll have with a lot of money. If you can't manage $1,000, you will not magically become good at managing 100,000. The zeros don't change the behavior. The behavior changes the zeros. The person who says, I'll be responsible with money once I have more of it, has the story backwards. You have more of it because you were responsible with it. The responsibility comes first. The abundance follows the responsibility. When you tell yourself, I'll worry about it later, what you're really doing is training yourself to not pay attention. And attention is the whole game. The people who build wealth are paying attention to money constantly, not obsessively, but consistently. They know where it goes. They know what they own. They know what they owe. They watch the flow the way a captain watches the water. Meanwhile, the person who says later has no idea where their money goes. It flows out of their life like water through open fingers, and they never look down to see it happening. Drop the lie. There is no later. There is only the small amount you have right now and how you treat it. Treat the small amount well, and you become the kind of person a large amount can trust. Treat it carelessly, and no amount will ever stay with you. Start tonight, not next month. Tonight. Look at what you have. Look at where it's going. The worrying you keep putting off is not worrying. It's attention. And attention is the first thing every wealthy person developed back when they had almost nothing. Next. Broke people tell themselves more money would just cause more problems. This is the lie people tell so they don't have to feel bad about not having any. And it wears the mask of wisdom. It sounds like something a deep, spiritual, contented person would say. But underneath it is a quiet decision to stop reaching. Because if money causes problems, then not having money is a kind of protection, and staying broke becomes a way of staying safe. I've learned that money doesn't cause problems. Money reveals the person. If you were a fool before you had money, money gives you a bigger stage on which to be a fool. If you were wise before you had money, money gives you more tools to act on your wisdom. The money didn't create the character. It amplified the character that was already there. Blaming money for what people do with it is like blaming the water for what a drowning man does. The water isn't the problem. The inability to swim is the problem. And here's what nobody wants to say. The problems that come with no money are far worse than the problems that come with money. The problem of not being able to fix your car. The problem of not being able to see a doctor. The problem of lying awake at 3 in the morning doing arithmetic that never comes out right. Those are real problems, heavy problems. Problems that grind people down. The problems of having money, deciding what to do with it, keeping it, managing it, those are problems too. But they are problems of a much higher order. Given the choice, everybody would take the second set. Everybody. Drop the lie. Money will not solve your character, but it will solve a very long list of the problems that are exhausting you right now. And it will give you room to become a better person. because a person who isn't panicking about survival has the mental space to grow. Stop pretending that staying broke is protecting you from something. It isn't. It's exposing you to the hardest problems there are. Go earn the higher order problems. They're the ones worth having. Next, broke people tell themselves, I'm just not a numbers person. This one comes out with a little laugh, a little shrug, as if it's a charming personal quirk. But it is one of the most expensive sentences a human being can say. Because managing money is mostly just arithmetic. And once you've decided you're not a numbers person, you've excused yourself from doing the arithmetic your whole life. I'm telling you, the math of personal money is not hard. It is addition and subtraction. It is what came in, what went out, what's left. A child can do it. You are not being asked to solve equations that would trouble a scientist. You are being asked to keep track of a checking account. I'm not a numbers person is not a statement about your brain. It's a statement about your willingness. You've decided in advance that this is beyond you, so you never try. And because you never try, it stays beyond you. The prophecy fulfills itself. And here's the trap inside the trap. Because you've declared yourself no good with numbers, you hand the numbers to somebody else. Or worse, to nobody at all. You just don't look. And when you don't look at your money does whatever it wants. It disappears in ways you never see. And you never learn where, because looking would require you to be a numbers person, and you've decided you aren't. So you stay blind to your own finances on purpose, and you call the blindness a personality trait. Drop the lie. You don't need to love numbers. You need to be willing to look at them, that's all. Once a week, sit down and look at what came in and what went out. It'll be uncomfortable the first few times, then it won't be. After a couple of months, you'll know your own money the way you know your own kitchen. And that knowledge is worth more than any talent for math. The wealthy aren't math geniuses. They're just people who decided to look and kept looking, long after the person who isn't a numbers person had turned away. Next, broke people tell themselves, I deserve to treat myself. Now hear me carefully, because this one is subtle. There is nothing wrong with enjoying the money you earn. Enjoyment is part of the point. But the broke person uses, I deserve to treat myself, as a spell to cancel out every hard day. And the spell always costs money they don't have. Here's the thing. I deserve it is how broke people talk themselves into spending. Every hard week becomes a reason to reward themselves. Every small victory becomes a reason to celebrate with money. Every disappointment becomes a reason to comfort themselves with a purchase. And there's always a hard week, always a small victory, always a disappointment. So there's always a reason. The reward, the celebration, the comfort, they all point in the same direction. Out, money going out. And the person feels each time that they've earned this, that they deserve this. So they never feel the guilt that might have slowed them down. You see, the wealthy person treats themselves too, but they treat themselves out of surplus after the important things are handled. The broke person treats themselves out of scarcity before the important things are handled and calls it self-respect. The order's everything. Reward yourself after you've paid your future self first. And the reward is a joy. Reward yourself before. And the reward is a wound you can't feel yet. Drop the lie. You don't deserve to treat yourself into a hole. What you deserve is a life that isn't ruled by money panic. And you get that life by handling the important things first and treating yourself with what's left over. The next time you hear yourself say, I deserve this, ask a harder question. Do I deserve this more than I deserve to be free of financial fear, because those two things are competing for the same dollar. And the treat, however nice, is a very small thing next to the freedom. Next, broke people tell themselves, it's only a few dollars here, a few dollars there, a small thing, a little thing, not worth tracking, not worth worrying about. And they say it a dozen times a week, every week for their entire lives, and never once add it up, because adding it up would ruin the whole comfortable illusion. It's never only a few dollars. It's a few dollars repeated. And repetition is what turns small into enormous. A few dollars a day is over $1,000 a year. A few dollars a day for 20 years, if it had been saved instead of spent, is a substantial sum. Enough to change a person's life. Gone. Spent a few dollars at a time, each one dismissed as too small to matter. The broke person watches the big expenses and ignores the small ones. The wealthy person understands that the small ones, multiplied by frequency, are the big ones. They just arrive in disguise. You see, wealth is built the same way. Not in one grand gesture, but in small amounts, repeated, protected, allowed to grow. The person who says it's only a few dollars about spending is the same person who says it's only a few dollars, why bother, about saving. They dismiss the small in both directions. They can't build wealth because they can't respect the small amounts that wealth is made of. And so their whole financial life is a river of small amounts flowing out and never a stream of small amounts flowing in. And they wonder why the reservoir is always empty. Drop the lie. Start respecting the small amounts, both the ones going out and the ones you could keep. A few dollars is a seed. Spend the seed and you get a moment. Plant the seed and you get a harvest years from now that the person spending seeds will never see. Track the small things for 1 month. You will be shocked, not by any single expense, but by the total. And in that shock is the beginning of a different life, because you'll finally see where your money has been going all along. Next, broke people tell themselves, I'll never earn more than this. They look at their current income and they treat it like a ceiling built by the Almighty, fixed, permanent, the most they will ever make. And once they've decided that, they stop doing any of the things that would prove it wrong. They stop learning. They stop reaching. They stop asking. They settle into the ceiling they invented. Your income is not fixed. It is a reflection of the value you currently provide. And value is something you can increase. You can learn a new skill. You can become better at the skill you have. You can solve bigger problems. You can serve more people. Every one of those raises your value. And raised value, sooner or later, raises income. The person who believes their income is permanent has confused a photograph with a life sentence. The photograph shows where you are right now. It says nothing about where you can go. But if you treat the photograph as a sentence, you'll never go anywhere, and the photograph will turn out to be accurate because you made it accurate. I once knew a young man who was convinced he had hit his lifetime ceiling. He was making a modest wage doing modest work, and he decided that was that. This was as far as somebody like him would ever go. He said it plainly, without bitterness, the way a man reports the weather. This is my level. This is what people like me earn. And because he believed it, he did nothing to change it. Why would he? You don't struggle against a ceiling you believe is made of concrete. Then something shifted. He watched a man he'd worked beside for years, a man no smarter than himself, no more gifted, get promoted past him. And it stung. But instead of calling it luck, he asked what the man had done. And the answer was simple. The man had spent his evenings learning the part of the business nobody else understood, made himself valuable in a way that was hard to replace. So the young man did the same, spent his own evenings learning, And within 2 years, his income was well past the ceiling he'd once been so certain of. The ceiling had never been real. It had only been a belief, and beliefs, unlike concrete, can be knocked down in an evening. Drop the lie. Your income is a starting point, not a destination. The question is never, what do I earn? The question is, what could I become worth if I decided to grow? Ask that question and then go develop the value the answer points to. The ceiling will lift the moment you stop treating it as a ceiling and start treating it as a floor. Next, broke people tell themselves, debt is just a normal part of life. They carry it, they service it, they add to it, and they've made a kind of peace with it, the way a man makes peace with a stone in his shoe by deciding the pain is just how walking feels. And that peace, that acceptance, is the most expensive attitude they own. Here's the truth. Debt is not neutral. Debt is a claim that other people have on your future earnings. Every dollar you owe is a dollar of your future labor that has already been spoken for by somebody else. You are working right now for money you already spent. And on top of that, you're paying rent on the borrowing itself in the form of interest, which is the machine that keeps most broke people broke. Interest is the reason the debt never seems to go down no matter how much you pay. You're feeding the machine, and the machine eats your payment and stays the same size. Meanwhile, the wealthy own the machine. They collect the interest. You pay it. That is a large part of the entire difference between the two. When you tell yourself everybody has debt, it's normal, you're using the crowd as an excuse. And it's true, a great many people carry debt, but a great many people are broke. The fact that the crowd does something is not evidence that the something is good. Often the crowd is doing precisely the thing that keeps the crowd where it is. Normalizing debt is how you stop fighting it. And the moment you stop fighting it, it settles in permanently and starts eating your future one payment at a time, with your full permission. Drop the lie. Debt is not normal. It's a chain. And chains are not something to make peace with. They're something to break. Attack the debt like it's on fire, because in a real sense it is. It's burning your future while you sleep. Pay it down with everything you can spare, smallest to largest or highest interest first, whatever keeps you going. And once it's gone, guard your freedom fiercely, because the person with no debt owns their own future, and the person in debt has sold pieces of it to strangers. Next, broke people tell themselves, I don't need to learn about money, I just need more of it. This is the lie that guarantees that even if more money arrives, it won't stay. Because money without knowledge is like water poured into a cracked jar. It doesn't matter how much you pour. What matters is whether the jar can hold it. Money management is a skill, and it is a separate skill from earning. A person can be very good at earning and very bad at keeping. And that person, no matter how much they earn, ends up in trouble. You've seen it. People who made fortunes and lost them. People who won large sums and were broke again within a few years. They had the money. They didn't have the knowledge. And the knowledge is what holds the money in place. Earning fills the jar. Knowledge seals the cracks. Do one without the other, and you'll spend your whole life pouring water into a container that can never be full. The broke person imagines that if a large sum simply landed on them, all their problems would end. But hand a large sum to somebody who has never learned to manage money, and you will watch that sum evaporate. Not because they're foolish, but because they never learned the skill. And the skill doesn't come with the money. The money assumes you already have it. And if you don't, the money exposes that you don't, quickly and painfully. Which is why chasing more money without learning about money is the surest way to stay right where you are, only with more drama along the way. Drop the lie. Learn about money while you have a little, so you'll be ready when you have a lot. Read the books. Understand how saving works, how investing works, how debt works, how the whole machine turns. It's not glamorous knowledge, and it's not hard to acquire. It's just neglected. And the neglect is exactly why so few people ever hold on to wealth, even when it comes to them. Become the person who can hold it before you become the person who has it. Seal the jar first, then start pouring. Do it in that order and you'll keep everything you earn. Do it backwards and you'll keep nothing. Next, broke people tell themselves money isn't that important to me. And they say it with a kind of pride, as if not caring about money makes them a finer sort of person, as if indifference to money were a mark of the soul. This might be the most damaging lie on the entire list, because it disguises neglect as virtue, and there's no lie harder to give up than the one that makes you feel superior. Saying money isn't important is a luxury of the person who has never truly run out of it, because money touches almost everything that matters to you. It touches whether your family is safe. It touches whether you can help the people you love. It touches whether you can be generous. It touches whether you have choices or whether life chooses for you. To say it isn't important is to say all of that isn't important. And you don't actually believe that. What people usually mean when they say money isn't important to me is I've decided not to try, and I need a noble reason. And indifference sounds nobler than defeat, so they dress the defeat up as detachment and wear it like a badge. You see, the people who genuinely don't care about money are rare, and they are usually people who arrange their lives so they don't need much of it, which itself required paying attention to money. The pretending not to care is a different thing entirely. It's a way of avoiding the discomfort of caring, because caring means trying, and trying means the possibility of failing. So they announce that they've risen above the whole subject, but they haven't risen above it. They've just turned their back on it, and it goes right on affecting their life, whether they look at it or not. Drop the lie. Money is important, not because it's the highest thing, but because it's the thing that protects and enables the highest things. Care about it the way you care about a tool that lets you build what you love. You don't worship the hammer, but you'd be a fool to pretend the hammer doesn't matter when there's a house to build. Money is the hammer, and you've got a great deal to build. So here's what I want you to carry with you. 10 lies broke people tell themselves. Every one of them sounds reasonable. Every one of them feels like something a sensible person would believe. And every one of them, held long enough, produces the same broke life year after year. The rich got rich by taking from the poor. I'll worry about money later. More money would just cause more problems. I'm just not a numbers person. I deserve to treat myself. It's only a few dollars. I'll never earn more than this. Debt is just a normal part of life. I don't need to learn about money. I just need more of it. Money isn't that important to me. Read that list again and be honest. Which ones live in your head? Which ones have you said out loud? Maybe today, maybe this week. Because the ones you recognize are the ones that have been shaping your financial life while you weren't watching. These lies are comfortable. That's the whole danger of them. They let you off the hook. They explain your situation without demanding anything from you. And that comfort is exactly the price you keep paying over and over for the rest of your life. I am telling you, the change you're looking for doesn't start with more money. It starts with fewer lies. Pull the lies out. Look at them in daylight. See how flimsy they are once you stop protecting them. Then let them go. Pick the 3 lies on this list that live loudest in your head. Just 3. Start with those. When one of them rises up, the way it always has, catch it. Name it as a lie. And replace it with the truth that sits right underneath it. Do that, and something will begin to move. Not overnight. The bank balance is the last thing to change because it's the shadow, not the machine. But the machine will already be changing. The beliefs will be shifting. And the behavior will follow the beliefs the way it always has. The person who believes wealth is created will pursue it honestly. The person who respects small amounts will keep them. The person who knows debt is a chain will break it. The person who cares about money will finally pay it the attention it has always required. The version of you 5 years from now who stopped telling these 10 lies is going to be standing in a different place. Not because dropping lies is magic, but because the truth allows actions the lies never permitted. And those actions taken quietly day after day build the thing you've been telling yourself you'd never have. Drop the lies. Face the truth. Watch what your life does when you finally stop lying to yourself about money. You must trust that it's more than you think, because most people never stop lying, and most people stay broke.